Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. A good day to everyone. I'm Dr. Zillasafarina binti from IPG Campus Pendidikan Teknik Nilai. My research is entitled Conceptualizing the Role of 21st Century Reader via the Analysis of Multimodal Representation. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to lead you into the scenario of this study. From the visual that you see now, it tells about how readers understand text as they interact with the others, the use of visuals beside the verbal text, the use of technology, and what these lead to. In short, reading in this 21st century is not easy due to the use of multimodal text and technology as it deals with connection, symbiosis, differences, and similarity. Hence, what you will listen to in my presentation is about my discussion on the practice on analyzing multimodal presentation in a contemporary 21st century education and the conceptualization on the roles of reader as he reads the multimodal text and as he makes meaning. Now, why there is the need for the study? Okay, there are three main ideas why I embark with the study. First, in analyzing visuals beside text, it is very critical part of visual literacy for learners, and therefore they need to be taught the knowledge on meaning-making system. Two, as practicing visual analysis besides language, it sharpens critical judgment and help people to seek out answers. And this is very much important when hidden ideologies are exposed via seemingly neutral images. For example, if you look at the theory developed by Berger in 1972, who say in his theory seeing versus looking, right? And what he says is that the relationship between what we see and what we know is never settled. So there's certain ideology behind what is seemingly neutral and safe. Third, the role of readers at the moment in our 21st century has evolved. Therefore, it's insufficient to teach students to make meaning solely of and with print text only. Another main reason why I embark on the study because the students, they need a meta-knowledge of meaning making that they can apply to multimodal texts of the future. But how can this be done? Hence, ladies and gentlemen, this leads to the question of my research. That is, what is the role of 21st century reader as he understands and makes meaning using multimodal text? And this aligns to the intention of the study, that is, conceptualizing the role of the 21st century reader via the analysis of a multimodal representation. Now, to help you understand the research that I have embarked on, there are a few relevant reviews that I would like to share with you. Freebody and Luke 1999 suggests the expansion on the conceptualization of the resources readers use when reading and the roles readers adopt during the act of reading. And in their research, they produce 4 resources model and with associated 4 roles of the reader. Yeah. So what they did is actually they expand the definition of reading from simple understanding and decoding of printed text to a model that goes beyond merely looking at the letters and the meaning, where ideas meaning it comes from social cultural context. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this visual summarizes the four reader roles developed by Luke and Peabody for the 21st century. First, code breaker. Code breaker means the learner will decode the words in the text and their meaning, understand the print words, yeah, whereby meaning maker is where the reader will interact with the text, looking at the schemata, reading between the line. Next, text user is when the students or the learners can use the text and they uh, make meaning from what they have read. For example, what is it for? Is it for education? Is it for entertainment? Right? And last but not least, text analysis, where the reader will actually look at the text with critical eyes. They look deep into looking for what is seemingly natural, for example, to reveal the ideology of the um, writer. Ladies and gentlemen, to suit the need for my study, to cater for 21st century contemporary needs for visual for literacy studies, I adopt Safani 2011, who extended the reconceptualization from 4 resources model to 4 resources or social practices for reading viewing multimodal text. 1. Navigator. 2. Interpreter. 3. Designer. And 4. Interrogator. What I do is I will draw on research and theories from visual culture as well as from semiotics. Okay, about the learner that has become the subject of the study, he is a learner from PISMP TESOL program in IPG Campus Pendidikan Teknik, and he's in semester 1. Um, the subject that he learned was multiliteracies, TSLB 3193, and the aim of the lesson is specifically, especially for this particular section, task will be to analyze multimodal literacies, visual and digitalization, as well as the use of language. And the analysis reveals the learner's reading of the multimodal text as a form of representation, as well as his roles as a reader. Okay, let's move to the analysis of the research. Yeah, from what he has produced, in what you look at, Children of Malaysia, this is actually the poem chosen by the learner upon receiving the task for the coursework, right? Uh, what uh, what is requested from him is to choose a multimodal text uh, that has the idea of unity of diversity. How the words and the visuals chosen represent or signify the idea of unity in diversity. Okay, so the learner says that the poem chosen uh, is entitled Children of Malaysia by Lo Li Yan. Why he said why I chose a poem is because the message tried to be conveyed is all about the unity in diversity in terms of how the younger generation perceive the concept. Okay. Uh, this is actually the choice made by him upon so many multimodal texts that they have everywhere, and the choice actually indicate meaning, yeah, because all choices are not meaning that it comes from his belief and his ideas on how he perceive concepts such as unity in diversity. Now what I have with me to be presented to you is now his reflection, um, which is in connection to Seraphani's idea as what I have presented just now. First, navigator. His role as a navigator, that is on how reader interact with the media text. He says that the poetry has a message about Malaysian child that has been united from an early age. It caught my attention, and that's why I, as a reader of the 21st century, can comprehend it better. So from what he says is that the idea of multimodality, what he has examined is something that is very familiar to his life. It's the current practice that we have, unity in diversity, and it's somehow very familiar, makes sense to his schemata. This is my practice, is what he's doing now. Yeah. The second one, interpreter. He's able, it means readers engage in the act or the process of interpretation. What he says, I was able to construct or generate viable meanings and responses to languages, layout, and images in the text based on the idea of unity in diversity. So what we have here, he is able to understand the semiotic system in the multimodal text as he celebrates the ideas via the concept of unity in diversity. Next, designer. It means that reader not only construct meaning but also they design the way the text is read. Yeah, he says that uh, to create and construct the critical analysis for the task. So this is what he says. Yeah, and what I understand from what is written by him is that when he uh, analyzes the text, he is also a designer because he creates how the text should be read and understood by him. And this is evident from his presentation of his analysis, the way he constructs his ideas, the first idea to the next ideas until the end. Yeah, and it means uh, uh, the way he presents is reflecting what he has in his mind. That is, he is all supporting for the idea of unity in diversity. Next, interrogator means that deeply understand the image and the design element presented in the multimodal text. He says what he has done is considering the aspects of production and reception in addition to the aspects of image and text itself. Okay. As a lecturer, what I understood is that as he analyzed, he not only looking at the image and text only, he go deep into the aspect of production and reception. Productions, for example, what I can actually uh, uh, remember is that the use of camera angle, yeah, or the use of color, um, and the use of size of font and the type of font produced uh, in the text. He looked into the production and how it has affected him. Yeah, it is actually in analysis. Okay, and this brings to the finding of the research. Okay, basically, ladies and gentlemen, what is multimodal text? Yeah, we revised. It's actually text that convey meaning through a combination of two or more modes. For example, a poster conveys meaning through a combination of written language, still image, and special design, and each mode has its own specific task and function according to Press 2010. And what is very important in understanding multimodal text is that the use of more than one mode of semiotic resources to represent meaning potential. And what we have to bear in our mind is that when the semiotic resource is used, it is somehow connected to social cultural practices because how you practice is determined by how it been accepted in the society, and you will suit to the needs and to the acceptance of the society. Yeah, so it's never natural. Why multimodality is very significant in this study? Well, I can say that all my learners appreciate multimodal learning in the class. One, because it's a knowledge construction. Learner now becomes a knowledge producer as they analyze the production, yeah, the visual production, visual and linguistic production. He himself dig up, examine, decode, decode the code that he sees, understand it, and then he produce the knowledge. For example, the camera angle. What is the camera angle used? What does it mean? How it's connected to unity of diversity? Yeah, and they know more just text user or knowledge user. Two, engagement. As the learner learn in the class, they become engaged as they now are the agent of their own meaning making. Next, diverse learner. Right. What I meant by the diverse learner is that multimodality allow uh, learning to happen in a very creative way. As the saying goes, one size style of learning does not fit all. Every students are very unique. They have different learning style. Therefore, by having uh, multimodal practices learning, the visual literacy, the technology as well, it allows learning to happen in a very unique way, creative way. Yeah. Uh, so what I can conclude here, um, it shows the relationship among images, language, text, context, and social practices. Now, in connection to the visual culture and semiotic theory, I can conclude that meaning does not solely consist of ideas transmitted by visual imagery and their critique. Is also concerned with the questions of how different visuals may be produced. Yeah, as what I've mentioned just now, the arrangement properly uh, arranged by the producer, the lighting, the font use, the camera angle, yeah, all those actually carry meaning. How different visuals may be pre-arranged beforehand so that the intended meaning will be achieved, right? Okay, two, meaning transmitted through the signs via the images can also provide clues into how messages are configured and also have, and these will have impact on the learner's practical engagement. This means that when the signs are very, for example, it's very interesting. Yeah? It gives clues on how the message has been pre-arranged, pre-designed much earlier, yeah, before. And these will intrigue the learners further as they examine the text, and these bring to the engagement, the learning engagement, deeply engage the learner. Ladies and gentlemen, we move to the end of the presentation. For the task, for the project, the big idea is unity in diversity. And as a lecturer, I, I am strongly um, agree that he has actually achieved uh, the objective of the lesson as he seemed to be enjoying celebrating while learning the idea of multimodality, and via his multimodality he shows uh, the practice of unity in diversity from his own perspective. Yeah, so what I can see also, this is a form of realization of national ideology being embraced well by the young generation. Two, what I can feel as well is that the learner has the experience of deep learning. the deep learning is actually a form of 21st century education that is very much relevant, because according to the practice, what you learn will stick to your mind, and this will strongly engage the learners. This is a practice that should be embraced, should be adopted by all the educators of the 21st century. Okay, from all the observation, from the comment, from the analysis of what he has produced, I can presume, I can conclude that he will possess meta knowledge of meaning making that can be applied to understanding multimodal texts of the future, any type of text of the future, by becoming the navigator, the interpreter, the designer, and the interrogator. With that, thank you very much.